Welcome to another episode of Loose Talk Podcast, your favorite podcast across the globe. First of all, before we even go into introducing ourselves, Ayo, you and I want to give a big shout out to every listener coming from all the regions, right? And I'll read this in the order in which we have the most listeners across the world. And we have a lot of listeners across the world. Some countries that you won't even expect, we would have listeners. I know podcasting has gone global and all that, but really still seeing, these listener locations is still amazing. So first of all, of course, we have our most listeners from Nigeria. So shout out to Nigeria, everybody in Nigeria listening to us, followed by the US. And I'll go, you know, into the cities, Texas, or the states rather, Texas, California, New York, Maryland, District of Columbia, Georgia, Illinois, North Carolina, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Florida, Ohio, Indiana,
I
Virginia,
was the one listening from
Connecticut.
Florida. Sorry. Continue.
Thank you. Tennessee, Michigan. Shout out to you guys. More there, are even more cities, but shout out to you guys in the UK as well. England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and of course Canada, Ontario, British Columbia, Alberta, Quebec, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. Shout out to you guys. And of course, our peeps from Ghana, our peeps from Germany, our peeps from Ireland, Australia, South Africa, United Arab Emirates, France, Netherlands, Hungary, Italy, Sierra Leone, Poland, Cameroon, Finland, Benin Republic. Come on, man. The love is too much. Shout out to you guys. It's just
Shout out,
beautiful.
shout
Yeah.
out to all the scammers in UAE listening to us. God will help you also.
That guy that said Nigerians don't, when they come to UK, they don't go to school. Does he listen to Lusto?
Does he know? Does he know what loose talk is? He is the real loose talk. He is the real loose talk. Who put his mouth? Wow, on national television.
That guy.
I felt like going to brush him, I swear. I don't advocate for violence, but that guy be like, who they go beat.
That guy is on site. That guy is on site.
Let me tell you, whoever that guy is, Tiamu, right? Mr. Mr. Tiamu. First of all, Mr. Tiamu, I strongly advised against coming back to Nigeria for any holiday.
Because from the airport, once one person recognizes him,
He's on
you see
site.
what they need to. What's the name of the Europa League final referee?
Anthony Taylor
That's the
Okay,
same thing
that
they
way.
did to him. That's the same thing they did to him.
is from
Well,
is from immigration control. You start collecting the slaps.
Now slap they go collect for. They don't even need to ask her for money. But slap straight.
that's like,
Slap.
And let me tell you something, right? And I'm sure you guys know this already because you're in the media, you featured in stuff. You think people don't watch these things
what?
until see, I'm
I
telling
think he
you,
would know. He would know from the reaction that thing
Bro.
gathered. He would know because he came to apologize, bro. For someone to come and see, if they've never dragged you on social media, you will not understand. And like we've
You
been
won't
there,
understand.
obviously, we've been there, right?
Yeah.
You don't know the
yeah.
amount of smoke, and you know the most worrying thing about that thing is how it affects your reality. It's
Yeah.
it's more than social media when something like that starts happening, right? You just be walking
Yeah, it
on the
goes
street and
offline.
someone is just start talking about it. That's when you know that,
straight.
oh boy.
Oh no, it's real actually.
And,
It's
and you know
real.
why you know why his own is even fucked up? Because as he goes out of his house and goes to the bus stop or to the train stop, he's seeing like Africans and Nigerians. The thing went viral.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
he's already collecting the smoke over there.
Exactly.
That's foreign smoke. Before you now come to the homeland smoke.
Exactly.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So you're taking the
It's gone.
smoke there, then you come back to Nigeria and take the firewood smoke.
The guy was a talking point for like 48 hours.
Bro.
Bro,
Wow.
Personally, I don't think the guy needs brushing because the trauma the guy has gotten alone on social media.
You know, like
It's like
2-3 hours after that whole thing, the interview interview aired. I think it was Freeze that interviewed him, so he doubled down on it. Doubled down on it. It's like, I
was confident.
Yeah, when you see this truth, people. But the next day, I saw him. I saw
You
a
know,
certain level of humility.
you know, say no, Jesus Christ. You ain't that nigga, my brother. You ain't that nigga. Sorry.
Incorrect. Oh,
So
well.
incollect, seriously, as in incollect,
Well,
wella. The thing
well,
spread wella, So I mean, if you listen to Loose Talk, welcome, thank you, Mr.
thank you.
Timmy, thank you. I think you can learn a thing or two from here, you know. You can learn a thing or two from here as well. But yeah, shout out to all our listeners across the globe. Now we can start the show. Welcome again to Loose Talk Podcast. My name is Osagie Alonge,
My name is Ayomide Tayo.
and we also have with us Steve Dede.
I don't think you guys matter that much. You know why I'm saying it?
Why?
Because
Why?
people in like Nigerians are suffering. So I don't care. I don't care about who you are. I don't care about your names. Like, bro, Nigerians is suffer.
First,
Well,
wait, first, sorry,
go
wait.
ahead.
You don't understand.
Yeah.
So that's the
Please,
thing. That's what is
please,
bothering me. It's
Steve,
not the
Steve,
introduction.
calm down. Steve, calm down. Steve, calm down. First of all, we are recording virtually in case anybody asks us. Please.
Yeah,
We are
yeah.
Okay,
recording this
you want to make
virtually.
that clear?
Thanks
We
to
got the smoke last week.
yes. Yeah, we got the smoke last week. I beg.
But like,
We are
how?
recording this
Like,
virtually.
I didn't listen to last week's episode. How did it sound? It sounded virtual. It sounded as if we were recording virtually.
Definitely. I don't think we were in sync that well. We were talking over each other. I also, I don't know how Ayo. Maybe you can move your mic a bit away, but it sounds like Ayo is over like phones. You can tell.
Okay.
You understand? Yeah, a bit,
Over
just a
phones.
bit. Like
Yeah.
you can tell Ayo is recording like over the call
Okay,
somehow.
okay.
Even though you're recording in the US, like the road, it always just sounds like it's sounding virtual. Even when I listen to 234, it's always like that. Yeah. Maybe we need to get you another microphone, sir.
Maybe
No,
maybe he's using.
I think the way I'm using it now, you can't hear. If I used to hear the recording on my laptop on the speakers I recorded, but now you can't hear it. I'm just hearing
Okay, with the
directly to
headphones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're recording virtually for a number of reasons. I think the most important reason now is that fuel is too expensive for us to be driving around town.
More. At least it will
I think Aya's mic was made in my mic was made in Beijing. I think Osage's one maybe in Shanghai. Aya's one was made in I think this city
Alaba.
discovered COVID.
Alaba. No, mine is Alaba.
Okay,
Mine is Alaba. Yeah.
That's
do
city
that like
Wuhan.
Okay, that's is the fuel line we're using for the virtual thing. Abi, that's the line we want to
Yes.
go with.
Yes, the line. That's the line. That's the line we're going with.
There's no fuel to be in the studio. That's true. That's
There's
true.
no
fuel.
fuel.
All right,
No
let's go with
fuel.
that. Let's go with that line. That makes sense.
Virtual no fuel or fuel no virtual. I mean, we'll find. Anyways, yeah. So welcome to another episode. Again, we apologize for not letting you guys know we recorded virtually. We're also not in sync that much, but we're back. We got a lot of feedback, and we take the feedback and we apply it immediately. This podcast is more like a community. It's not just three of us. It's all of us here. So we'll take the feedback. And our feedback was, and I was just saying this before we started recording, is that we read too many fan mails, and I think people want us to talk more.
So I don't think the problem is that we are reading too many fan mails. We're reading too many fan mails recently, and we're not talking much.
Yeah, that's the issue.
The fan mail is not the problem, because even with the fan mail, we're still talking, because you read the fan mails and we react to it. We talk about the fan mails or the subject the person raised in the fan mail, right? So I think we're not talking much. Like last week, we didn't really, we didn't even have talking points because two of you didn't come prepared for the podcast. So
We are not, excuse me,
I've seen some improvements
Steve,
this
in my
week.
defense. Steve, in my
I've seen
defense.
some improvements this week.
Steve,
so
in my defense, I was writing talking points for the president. That first subsidy part, I mean, right now. So that's why
they're supposed to beat you past that guy for the UK. Now, you said they're supposed to beat now. See this guy. You are the guy who's supposed to be getting what? Don't worry, I'll put your address up.
I wish.
You know the wild thing about that guy. He's so much of a target. Like, he's so easy to target because he keeps wearing that stupid Ankara dress. And he has different versions of that shit. There are like
Yeah,
two, three
yeah, it
versions of
does.
that shit.
Yeah.
I think that thing is his swag. If you go to his YouTube videos as well, that's
Yeah,
like
man.
his you know, his
That's his
swag. You
thing.
know,
Yeah, that's his
yeah.
signature
That
look. Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure they would have crushed in on his YouTube page. They've god damn it.
You know
Anyways, but
Nigerians
guess
now.
what? Guess what, right? Mr. Tiamu, you're the luckiest man on earth because you've received the biggest promo you can ever get. All you need to do is just form a redemption arc. That's all. And
Yeah.
Nigerians love a redemption
Love a
arc.
comeback
Yeah.
story. Yeah.
They love a comeback story. Davido has always given us comeback story. Get a couple of girls pregnant, blah, 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 everybody, blah, 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 blah. But what? Just drop a banger. You know, everybody loves a redemption arc. So, Mr. Tiami, all you need to do is just, figure out what your redemption arc is and you become a. See, bro, we are in the era, I've said this before, the number one rule of engagement on social media is have no shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be shameless. And once you are shameless, you are good to go. So guess
Yep.
what? This young man, right, that you think, oh, what he did was wrong, what he did was morally wrong, blah, blah, blah. All he needs to do is just double down on being TMU. And bro, he's turned to an influencer because he's going to have fans.
Yeah.
And like Steve always says, just show people that you have money.
That's all. Let them know
Once
that
you
it's
show
working.
people you
Show
have
working.
money,
Once you show working,
that's all.
you'll be fine.
You have fans. You have people that will just start standing him. TMU, I believe in him. He's a correct
Yes.
guy.
If you want to prove me, if you want to see that I'm saying the truth, go to Hush Puppy's Instagram page. There's still a comment today saying, "God will see you through, my brother."
I thought Hush Puppy's Instagram has gone off. They've taken it
I
off.
think it has gone off now. Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
pointing. I'm just using it as a
Okay,
point
yeah.
of conversation to say.
Hush Puppy is going to be a senator in the next after his jail prison term. He's going to become a Nigerian senator.
I think the difference
Hush Puppy
is
will-
I don't think it's possible anymore because of the level of attention and the level of media that his story has gotten. The difference between
Steve.
him and some of the people in office right now, someone like our newly appointed chief of staff, right? No, the story is out there now. Even People's Gazette, they put it up today too. He allegedly stole money from he's a lawyer. He allegedly stole money from a client in America, and he was arrested. He gave up part of the money and he ran to Nigeria and started his political career. Right? But the problem is now is that at that time there was no social media, so nobody knew about these things, right? That's why he was able to creep his way back to Nigeria and just start a political career. I'm not sure that would be possible now if someone commits that level of crime and comes back and starts contesting for important positions. I don't think it's possible. Osagie thinks otherwise.
Nigeria will surprise you, Steve.
It will shock
Nigeria
you.
will surprise you. Yeah, I'm just looking at Steve saying this thing, and I'm just like, we've seen wilder things in this country. What are you talking about?
Oh my god.
Do you think the bar is low?
There's
No.
no bar again. There's no bar.
Bro, have you seen that thing they used to start digging in Lekki? Those diggers, those big ass diggers that they have to use the truck to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is where we're going. We're going for oil exploration. That's where we're taking the bar to.
Go sink.
don't
Go and bet
understand.
down. Go sink am.
Steve said because the crime was committed in it's not possible. I'm just looking at Steve. Look, what is this guy talking about? Come on,
I
man.
remember someone telling me
That
that.
guy,
If we didn't mention, like, Bats would have had a lesser chance of winning this election if we didn't mention his his alleged criminal past, right? Now, immediately you mentioned it, like, Nigerians just immediately bought into it and liked it because it's something
Yes,
they
man.
want to do.
Bad man.
let me tell you something, my brother. Let me tell you something. Nigerians are this market. Nigerians are the most complex people I know.
Yeah, it is actually.
And we don't know these
It
things because
defies
we're also
any marketing theory, any theory, anything that you read in school, any whatever it is. Nigeria defies all possible logic.
And we don't know these things because we're also Nigerians. We're also
So
in the
yeah, we
system.
think it's
Do
the
you
norm.
understand?
Yeah.
But talk to a non-Nigerian and let a non-Nigerian explain to you what Nigeria is.
They'll tell you it's fascinating.
Yeah,
Bro,
Nigeria is fast.
it's so fascinating. They are obsessed with being here. It's it's madness.
It's
It's just
mind-boggling.
madness. Yeah, the average Nigerian is crazy. Anyways, anyways, back like we never left. Back like we never left. Let's go
Back
into
like
some farm
Yash.
meal. So backline, yeah. We've talked about farm meals and said, okay, this is we're gonna loosen up on the farm meal. So fair enough, we're going to loosen up on farm meals, but we still got some farm meals. So let's go into that. Hang on a sec. Let me pull them up. Yes, then see, guys, you guys that are writing farm meals that have 400 words, 500 words, we cannot do this. We cannot read these things on the podcast.
That's Tinubu speech.
600
Oh.
words.
That's the Tinubu speech. I don't want
You
600.
understand?
I don't think you should discourage that because I know there's a day you need to read it.
Okay, fine. What I'm just saying is that we cannot be reading this, like, we can't read the 600 worded fan mail. Maybe on a day where Steve is not around and Ayo is not around, or one of us, two of us are not around and we still need to record, right? We can then do a full fan mail episode and then we can read like all the long ass fan mails. But like on the real though, we can't, we can't be reading 600 words on the podcast. I don't think it's possible. Just saying. Just saying, like, look at this one. God of mercy. So long. We can't. We just can't. I'm sorry. But let's go to the ones we can read. Okay, this one is a bit long, but let's do it. All right. Please keep me anonymous. Okay. Dear Loose Talk Giants, big shout out to Osagie, AOT2, and the Bad Apple. I'm glad people are now seeing Steve for who he is and his attitude, on this podcast. Yeah, he's now referred to as the Bad Apple. Fantastic. Y'all are doing an amazing job keeping us entertained every Monday. I totally understand that people have been accusing you of being PC since the pod started again. However, one thing I love about Loose Talk is that every single iteration has brought something unique and enjoyable in a different way. From the
Yeah.
OG version where you first started out to the version with Moni and Jess, the brief No Name Giants era, and now with you guys all older and slightly different views on certain things. This fan mail is looking long already, but I really just wanted to hear you guys' opinion about the conversation on new Nollywood versus old Nollywood that has been going on Twitter since the AMVCAs. While I agree to an extent that the new Nollywood may be more focused on the cinematography and the production and less on the acting and writing quality, I feel like there exist well-written stories and skillful actors in present-day Nollywood that Nigerians themselves overlook. Two very much underrated actors that deliver believable performances and have good range are Tony Tones and Osi Ukeje. Tony's performance as young Eniola in King of Boys and Goldie in Brotherhood were so good. Similarly, she killed her role in the Smart Woman series. There was a scene where she was expressing her displeasure over funding her brother's education and finding out he was scammed of his fees from his fake football academic. Her delivery of that scene gave me chills. P.S. I am seriously resisting the urge to say she ate, so I don't blow my Gen Z cover. LOL. Since OCUKG and Chukwujeku, Blossom's performance as Eric and a notorious kidnapper in Jade Osiberu's The Trade was excellent. He did justice to that role. That movie is also very much underrated in my opinion. It has such a good script, the soundtrack was good, and a lot of the actors did very well in their various roles. There's also this ongoing slander of the ex-PBN housemates, I guess as a shade to Toby Bakre and Elozonam. I think some of them just went on the show to gain some popularity and actually put in work into their craft when they leave the house, and there's absolutely nothing with that. Anyways, I'm sure you're already sick of my mail. I'll save the rest of my rant. Keep doing what you do. Cheers. I think this is a beautiful mail. Very
Yeah.
articulate, very straight to the point.
Yo.
Sorry.
Where do we?
I'll be wanting
Yeah.
to say something, Ayo. And I'm
Yeah.
directing this to Ayo and or I'm not, Ayo, are you a film film. You are a film enthusiast, but do you are you a, you write about films too now, right?
I'm
So
not,
you
I'm
can.
not a film. I'm not a film critic. I know where you're going
You're
to.
not a
I'm not
film
a film.
critic, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I just
So I
more
want
of
to
like
say
a
this.
film
I want to
reporter.
say this. AMVCA. I have nothing against them. I really love that show. I have very fond memories of AMVCAs, right? AMVCA should not be treated and regarded as a respectable award, right? Like it shouldn't be something that's held in awe or something like held in high esteem, right? Because I don't believe that a Viewers' Choice Award is credible. I really don't believe it. It should not. MVC should be taken for what it is, which is like a glamorous event, a glamorous and social event with all the glamour, the aesthetics, the $20,000 gowns or whatever it is. In short, it's like Met Gala. Let's take it as that. I'm not comfortable with the idea of us, holding that award as like the Nigerian, like the African or Nigerian Oscar. I don't like that. That's just what I want to say, and that's it. Thank you, guys.
Um, I get what you're saying. If I can interject. So yeah, AMVCA is a very glamorous event, but it should not be seen as the pinnacle of awarding filmmakers because, like you said, it's basically voting category at
Yeah.
the end of the day, and there is so much the public could know. 'Cause even acting, if you ask your average Nigeria, what do you consider good acting? They mix it up with shouting. They believe that once you shout or cry, you are a good actor, which we all know that's a lie. That's not what it means. And also for some technical categories like editing, sound, what does the average guy know at the end of the day? The issue is that Nigeria doesn't have a movie award of its own. AMVCA is by multi-choice and it covers all of Africa. AMA, God rest her soul, the lady who founded AMA, AMA is an African award at the
Peace.
end of
I
the
am
day.
Osagie.
Yes. The problem is that Nigeria, we tend to dominate. So when we clear most of the awards, so they think it's the Nigerian award. It's not a Nigerian award at the end of the day. So yeah, AMVCA is what it is, but it shouldn't be considered as our own form of Oscar or like Steve said, it's a Met Gala. It's a nice thing. Everybody come together, take your pictures, get your stuff on the red carpet. If you can win that night, fine. Clap for yourself. If you can't win that night, no vex. It's not career defining at the end of the day, So it is what it is.
Thank you. I am Hilda too.
Yeah. Thank you.
This guy. I'm tired of you. I'm tired of you niggers. Okay. Let's start from thank you for loose talk. Thank you for the props. Shout out to you. Let's start with new Nollywood and old Nollywood. I want to start with Ayomide Tayo here as well. There's this whole back and forth between new Nollywood and old Nollywood. So they say new Nollywood cinematography and production is fantastic, but the acting and writing quality is not too good, or is not as great as compared as before, right? With the old Nollywood. I also don't agree with that, right? Just like this writer says as well. But I want to hear your own thoughts before I contribute.
Okay, so this whole dichotomy, allow me to speak like a Nigerian politician. This dichotomy
Of the parastata.
of the parastata of old Nollywood and new Nollywood is a very significant problem in Nigeria, where we see something new and we dump the old because we think the old is worthless. Now, before Nollywood came, Nigeria had a thriving cinema industry, a thriving TV industry, and a thriving stage industry. Those were the three major industries that were pushing acting in this country. And you know what happened in the 80s? Nigeria fell, had like economic downturns, and from the ruins of that came entrepreneurial men who had a framework or structure to say, you know what, let's do straight to video movies, no need to take it to the cinema anymore because there are no more cinemas. People are not going to cinemas anymore. So that's how Nollywood was created. Ebimpejo Lane, Aba Road, Pound Lane, all that stuff. And the tragedy was that they forgot the professionalism of that era of the 60s or the 70s or the 80s. So that Nollywood just decided, you know what, these guys are old school. Let's do our own things, new school. So that's why the production value wasn't that great in the first phase of Nollywood. But the stories were raw and they were authentic. But you can't compare those movies to series like Behind the Cloud, The New Masquerade, all those great stuff that we grew up on. You can't compare the production value. Now, Nollywood now grew and grew and grew to a point where they didn't even give a fuck about the story anymore. Please just put Genevieve and put Shegarizo on the poster, part one, part two, part three, part four, and it will sell. But people got tired of that. And a new generation came and said, you know what, let's dump this old Nollywood that have more authentic stories and let's focus on production value. And that's why you see this new Nollywood, when they first started pushing out movies, they were focused on camera, lighting, but the stories had no impact. Most of the stories were Yankee stories that were just repurposed for Nigerian markets. And that's what caused the disparity. So at the end of the day, I don't even believe that, old Nollywood is superior to new Nollywood and everything. I think it's still an ongoing process. And the people at the helm of affairs now, or the people who are writing these stories, need to know that the pinnacle of the Nigerian cinema was actually from the 60s, 70s, and the 80s. And they have to go back to that era for them to get the totality of who we are on screen at the end of the day. Because John Boyega said when he came to Nigeria that yes, Nollywood is focused on cameras and production value, but there's a huge gap in storytelling. Some people are trying right now. You see Gangs of Lagos, you see all the other movies, but there's a huge gap in storytelling. It seems people just want to show 4K and HD instead of telling a proper story. Old Nollywood understood storytelling, but they didn't understand production quality because of finances and the way the country was at the
They
time.
understood it, but they couldn't afford it.
Because of financial, they couldn't afford it. So you couldn't expect them
They
to throw.
understood it.
Nobody was giving Sebejiro $1 million to go and shoot Akobi.
For what?
It was not.
Yes.
Where was it going to get that money in 1996 or 1997? It's impossible. It was impossible. But
They didn't have
now,
that funding.
yeah, now you can see New Nollywood trying to even do these old movies and they're not getting it right.
The acting has regressed a lot.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
acting has regressed a lot because people don't go through process. People don't want to go through process.
The house and just go straight to this.
And that's my issue with them saying they only want to use reality TV stars. No shade to Toby Bakari. Toby Bakari is great. He's one of the good examples. Elozonam too. But out of that bunch where all these cloud chasers who think they can just easily enter Nollywood and they get there and they give terrible performances. We've seen so many of them. They go on screen and they're wishy-washy. The acting is wishy-washy. And somebody like Shola Showali, who has been there for decades, will clean out because you people have not gone through process. You've not gone to acting school, you've not been on theater. You can't act. And shout out to Joke Silva, who has an acting school. I think everybody should take their ass to that place and actually learn from a woman who graduated best of her class in school in the UK. That is not beans at the end of the day. You might say, oh, it's just theater. No, that is the foundation at the end of the day. The Hollywood actors that we see either went to film school, right? Or they have acting coaches. A lot of the Hollywood actors that we see, when we don't see them acting in movies, they've gone back to theater to go on stage to fine-tune their crafts. Nobody's fine-tuning anything in Nigeria. Have a pretty face, have a big ass, be a fine boy.
Yo.
Movie will also come to you. No shade to anybody. No shade to anybody. Everybody has big ass these days now.
I think
Everybody get big ass.
I think the big ass is enough. Once you have big ass,
Okay.
I think you're a good actor.
You're good at it. The 4K will catch your ass very well. The way the 4K they do now.
I
Great
think
camera.
you should respect
Yeah.
yourself while you're talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
The big ass is okay. I was just trolling.
Yeah, I'll just over Yanni, please. We like the big
Yeah.
yash. I'll go to the cinema for the big yash, please. Fuck your acting. You have big yash and sexy, bro. I will vote for you AMVC 10 times. Yeah, so that's it with Nollywood.
Fair enough. I see it like that. Okay, here's what I think about the whole Nollywood and new Nollywood thing. I think some parts of old Nollywood were great and some parts not so great, right? Same with new Nollywood. I think some parts of new Nollywood are great and some parts are not great, right? I think when new Nollywood started, there was a lot of focus on the glitz and glamour. The writing may not have been as great as it is now. It's definitely improved now. There are movies from the new Nollywood that I have, dust my hat off for, right? I like Gangs of Lagos. I like Brotherhood. This Anonymous mentioned this movie that Blossom Chukwujeku did, The
Yeah.
Trade,
Yeah,
right? It's on Amazon, it's on Prime Video. It's also a fucking fantastic movie. Jade has been really doing her thing. So there are like new Nollywood movies that have also been good. Oju Kokoro, Diary Light on, like we talked
Yeah.
about this. what's the name of the other movie he did with the lady who was boxing?
Knockout
It's called
blessing.
Knockout Blessing. Do you understand? And there are like movies like that. Charles of Play and his movies, I like. Funny enough, I liked what do you call that movie? I had the breakout star, the guy.
But Steve just mentioned it now. What was the name of that movie? Oh God.
Which one is
The
that?
one, the one Ramsey Noah is inside. The one you said you
Living
saw
in
the
Bondage.
Living in Bondage.
Living in. I like the Living in Bondage.
That's that's
I
that's
like
the
it.
that's the last Nollywood movie I watched, and I was intrigued with acting. Like really intrigued, really like dragged in and consumed by the characters. Like I was following their every speech, their mannerism, the way they talk. That's the last movie that did it for me. I'm not saying that's the most interesting movie. That's the last interesting movie or good movie I've watched. I've watched other
Yeah.
good movies, Brotherhood, Gangs of Lagos, or good or some pieces, right? But I wasn't consumed with like any character, like no character to like the way I describe good acting, right? Good acting is when the storyline is not moving you or something, you're excited to see a character, right? The way a character is speaking. Like Training Day. There's nothing. Training Day is not like really a fantastic movie, right? Training Day was just Denzel, like just displaying his
Yeah.
own, like
I watched that movie yesterday. Denzel killed that movie.
yeah.
Denzel finished that movie.
Denzel was just showing off in Training Day. He was just showing
Yeah.
off.
Well, sure enough, yeah, like
There's
this
nothing. It's just a movie about a day in the life of a corrupt officer. There's
a corrupt
nothing.
officer.
There's no twist. There's no suspense. It's just a regular movie. But you see that movie, you just see acting, and that's how I define acting. And I feel something. I feel old Nollywood, right? Do you know why they typecast this guy Hank Anuku for a long time? Who remembers this movie Emeki Ike? It's My Love, where he's the son of the king and he came back from America and he wanted Emekike's girlfriend. Who remembers that movie?
Yeah, I remember that movie. Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
it.
Hank Anuku was so good in that movie, right? And that's how they started playing him as this
Returning guy.
this
Returning.
guy exactly that came back from always coming back from America or whatever. So that's how I describe acting. And I just feel that new Nollywood is not giving enough of that to me. There's so much glamour, there's so much fine face, there's so much reality TV.
So much
No, I
invoice.
think,
So
but
much
here's the
invoice.
thing. Yeah, forget that invoice thing. I think that exists, but I also think good movies really exist. What just
Yeah,
happens is that some of these things just get pronounced. The red carpet, all the glitz and all that is just louder. But there's good movies. There are really good movies out there as well.
and also there's also a PR angle to it, right? Where we're not seeing these people talk about like like I was watching the roundtable today, yesterday night. The roundtable is this Hollywood Reporter. They
Oh.
do it where they bring in
That is
right.
the best.
And-
When you see people talking acting,
And I see people talking about the act of acting, like how
bro.
they studied for a role. Like it makes you appreciate what they are doing, right?
Yeah.
So I think also the PR angle to it is that we're not seeing the Nigerian movie stars talk about acting like a job. Like so that I'm seeing it as a means to celebrity. Do you understand what I'm saying?
it means to fame.
I'm not a means to fame. I'm not seeing people talking about the science behind it. How much work they done to get to where they are. I think that's also a part of it, and that's why I'm not putting that respect. I watched the one that Damson Idris was the round table, right? And I had a whole lot of meaning to Snowfall again. Like I had another level of respect for the series again. You understand? Just seeing the amount of work someone puts into to taking a character and play a character. I appreciated the series again. I appreciated his acting. And I think that's something that's also missing in Nollywood. And it's necessarily not Nollywood's fault. We don't have a lot of people. Osagie mentioned it last week. Osagie mentioned it last week, and I was mentioning one person. And I think the third, I think on 2 days later, I was just asking myself, why was I even defending? Why was I trying to tell Osagie that Osagie wasn't right? So Osagie was right because I mentioned just two platforms, right? Where an industry like Nollywood should have like 10 good platforms covering it and giving us like good, really Nollywood stories. So Osagie was definitely right last week. And I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah, I think we are not curating that experience. You know how we do for music. You have the aggregators, the 49 Streets. You have, I mean, you have this guy, Shock NG, you mentioned it, and a couple of other
Yeah,
platforms, but like it's still very niche. It's not
Yeah, very, very
mainstream.
much.
it's not
Yeah,
mainstream.
it's
Yeah,
still niche. It's not mainstream yet.
where,
And
where, yeah.
I
Sorry,
think
where's the fat only for movies? Where's the music in time for
mm,
movies? Where's the like
Yeah,
Nollywood deserve those kind of curation and those kind of coverage? They actually do
yeah.
because they've tried. Yeah,
Like who's talking to Bill Akitola and say, "Oh, tell us about your breakout role in Out of Bounds. What was it like on set with RMD?"
yeah,
Nobody's doing that.
yeah.
and so here's why I think there's that problem. And that problem has existed for a long time. For the longest time, right? A lot of the people in Nollywood have been reported on, but not for their roles, not for their craft. It has been more around their lifestyle, their celebrity lifestyle, who they are dating, etc., etc. And that is what entertainment journalists have done for a long time. This is even before our generation. You know this. So the city peoples, the global excellence, the encomiums,
Encomium.
right? These guys just focused on who they were dating, blah blah blah. Now it can also be a case of they didn't have much to report about their craft. Like, fam, what do you want to say about Mona Lisa Chinda? You understand? Other than reporting. So I'm sure even if you had someone who wanted to talk about Mona Lisa Chinda's acting, after like writing one or two stories, person just got tired,
Yeah,
and then they were just focusing on our lifestyle and all that. And I think that's what has crept up till now because we are not seeing a lot of these guys sitting down and really breaking, their roles down. Even when they're new movies, I know Netflix is now trying to do this thing where they throw them in studios
yeah.
and
They
then
have
you
their
have somebody
editorials,
interview them.
their content.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's still not as in depth as it should be, right? Look
Mm-hmm.
at the Bridgerton, the new Bridgerton
Series,
Charlotte, right?
season.
Series
Yeah,
Charlotte, right? Those guys have been on an incredible press run.
yeah,
You know, they've been on an incredible press run and they've been detailing, talking about the stories, talking about the acting. We watch Gangs of Lagos. How many times have we seen the cast, do interviews?
yeah.
Whether it was just taking two of them, okay, let's take Chike and Toby Bakri, let's throw them in a press run, or let's take Adiswa and take somebody and throw them in a press run. We're not seeing it happen. So it's
I think
almost
they
like
did, but it wasn't. I
it
think they
wasn't
did,
as
but it wasn't pronounced that much. I think I saw a clip of them somewhere.
Yeah. And I can't blame the actors or the movie or the producers or whoever is in charge of that because, again, where are the platforms? And how many of these platforms are true to the nature of really digging deep into the stories? Which boils down to what I have been saying, which is media is currently broken. Media in Nigeria is broken. And Tolu Ogunlosi was saying something and people were just reacting, blah, blah, blah. But he said something. We need to declare a state of emergency in Nigerian media.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I
You know,
totally agree because the covering is just one kind. Totally. There's no in-depth
it's
coverage.
just one kind. Yeah, yeah. You see some stories and look at the one Channels TV put out on their website. The pastor put a statement out on Twitter and they just
Oh
reported the
my lord.
statement and moved on. And I
Like
didn't, and I'm like, who is this pastor?
today, I
What is
like,
he?
who is this pastor? Why does he have so much importance? Why are we so concentrated, or why are we concentrated on this pastor? And there was no report on that, and everybody just let it slide. Come on, man.
Bro, people are just curating social media quotes now and they're just putting it up. Again, social media, and this is my theory, and you guys probably agree with me, right? But social media brought the decline of journalism and media in the world.
Oh yes, yes, definitely.
Definitely,
Because publishers hate
definitely.
Mark Zuckerberg. Publishers hate Mark Zuckerberg. They'll hate him for life.
Take away even the thing he did with the traffic referral in 2018, where he just
Oh, yeah.
broke
He killed
through and
everybody.
reduced. Yeah, and he pulled out, the traffic that was coming from Facebook to platforms, right? And then
Yeah,
disrupted the whole media space. Take away that alone, just the fact that people like you break stories on social media or you go to social media or you have like these guys who just come and tweet stuff. Now everybody has to go there and curate it and they don't even know what to put out. Like the whole thing is just messed up. It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. It even disrupted the way journalists think. A lot of journalists
yeah.
who couldn't write stories anymore because all they needed to do was just sit down behind their computer
And
and
wait
wait for somebody
for,
to put out a tweet.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So is the craziest time to be a journal, is the craziest time to be in media right now.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people are just moving into like video cars, video versions of vlogging, video versions of journalism and all that. And
Yeah.
that's why podcasts and all these things are now taking off because like written text as journalism work is close to just is crazy. It's crazy. Right now, it's best to just have your own like video equipment and then do your own interviews and then do your own stories. There's a guy called Tim on Twitter. It's Timcast. I'm forgetting his surname. Um, but you guys will probably know Tim Pool, right? And he's like a right wing, center right or something. He's been on Joe Rogan a couple of times. One of the most famous Joe Rogan episodes is him going him debating Jack Dorsey and Jack Dorsey's lawyer,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
on Joe Rogan. It's 3 hours. Is one
Yeah,
of
yeah,
the
yeah,
most
I remember that episode. I remember that
yeah,
episode.
it's one of
I
the,
remember that
one
episode.
of the, one of the best episodes of Joe Rogan, right? And the guy has like this show called Timcast where he has his own show. They talk about politics, they interview people and all that. And bro, that's like, and he has thousands, I think millions of followers, on social media and people that watch the show. And I think that's the future of journalism right now. My only problem is it's very individualistic, and that means that you can throw like anything can be thrown in there, right? It doesn't have that. It's not going through the editorial layers,
New process. Yeah.
which yeah, which story should go. But again, even with the new media houses, who has the editors? How many editors do you have?
Unless you're New York
And it's
Times.
yeah, speaking specifically on Nigeria now, editors are not even valued because they don't write. And if you don't write, it's like there's no output from you. So
Then
the publishers
then
are like,
why are we paying you?
exactly. Then it's just messed up, man. But let's move on to the last fan mail we have today. Um, this is from Izzy. Hey guys, I hope you guys are holding up well in this new dispensation. I have a question for you guys today. With the rise of podcasts in the world, is it possible that they would become more popular and influential than radio shows? Back in the day, it was popular for people to call into the radio shows and give their opinions on a topic, but it doesn't appear to be happening a lot at the moment with podcasts having fan mails. Do you think podcasts would challenge radio? Thank you and keep up the good work. Second thing is, few weeks ago, you guys spoke more about football related content. I write a football Substack and publish. I try to write about different teams across Europe because most of these big football networks focus on big teams. I wrote about what Eddie Howe has done with Newcastle a few months ago and why Leicester City have been underperforming. Here's a link to a few things I've written over the past few months, and I hope to have one coming real soon. All right, the name of the Substack page is For the Road Football, and we would put it in the show notes for you guys to check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I see his point here. So he's talking about podcasts versus radio shows. And to be very honest, I don't think we're there yet. I think again, podcast is niche. Even globally, podcast is now a multi-million dollar business, right?
Yep.
However, radio still plays a very influential role. But podcast is growing astronomically as well. So in the long term, everything will turn digital. And then we're also going to have radio shows that are digital, and then we would have podcasts who are pre-recorded, etc., etc. Everything will merge and become a unified project or a unified media format very soon where you can listen to it live or listen to it after it has been recorded, and that's basically a podcast. So in Nigeria, I don't think so yet. Don't play with radio. But like globally we see the trend becoming more and more where podcasts are becoming more influential. People have millions of followers on podcasts, people have millions of downloads. The first iteration of Loose Talk was what, 800,000 downloads in 4 years, close to a million. So that's insane if you look at it. Bigger than
Downloads,
some
not just
radio.
listen.
Yeah, it's bigger than some
Just
of the
downloads.
no downloads and listens,
Okay, okay, okay.
which is bigger than some of the radio shows you have in the country as well. So I think both of them are moving at the same not at the same pace. I think radio in Nigeria is moving faster, but they would then merge.
I can't say
You know,
it's moving faster. I think
well,
radio has
radio.
the number right now, like in terms of it
Hmm.
still has like the biggest number, but I don't think consumer behavior is shifting towards radio. So I can't say it's moving faster. So it's radio is
You're
still
right.
it remains the same. Yeah,
Yeah, especially in
yeah,
You're
Nigeria.
right. You're right. I understand what you're saying. The growth rate might not be the growth rate for podcasts is definitely more than radio. Radio
exactly.
just has a wider audience.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true.
All right, man. So we're done with all the fan mails. Remember again, it is fanmail at loosetalkgiants.com if you want to send us an email.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're introducing a new segment to the podcast. It's called Ask a Giant. Ask the Giants rather. It's called Ask the Giants, right? This is where you can send in your dilemmas, your questions, your curiosities, and we'll lend you your, our thoughts and advice. Again, this is very different from fan mail, which is, you're just sending a fan mail. We want Ask the Giant to be specific questions that would help you, and we can then help you by solving it out, and we promise to actually help you. We promise to actually give you the best advice. So we already have one Ask the Giant, but we'll read it when we are done talking about our talking points this week. So, Steve, over to you, sir.
Over to me for what?
Talking points now. What do you mean over to you?
This some NTA handover.
Well, it's three co-hosts here now. What the hell? He say, and then took it to me. Yeah.
You are the anchor of the show, Osagie.
I'm not the anchor of the show. There are three co-hosts here. Please.
Yeah,
I do
so
the
let's
intro of
just
the show alone, and I read the fan mails.
So let's just it's fuel subsidy now, bro. The government removes fuel subsidy for the first time, totally for the first time since I was born 22 years ago, right?
It's only right that it's someone who has covered Super Eagles will lie like this about his age.
Fuck you. You know what? Fuck you.
This is sports
Fuck you, bro. Fuck. This one
This is like Ivan Tony wearing football jerseys with. This is like Ivan Tony wearing football jerseys with betting companies and eventually betting, bowing to the pressure of betting.
Yeah.
The guy has covered so many football games that people have tweaked their age. Like he just, I don't know, the power just overcame him and he just tweaked his age. Motherfucker. First of all, anybody that is celebrating the under-20s victory against Argentina, shame on you. Shame on you, because look at that man's face. The guy that scored the goal. What's his name, Steve?
Sorry, what's that? I don't know what people are talking about.
I can't remember the person I watched the game. I don't know who scored the goal again. Like I forgot.
Does that guy look like he's under 20?
Which game are you talking about?
The under 20 champion World Cup now.
I don't know what that is.
Forget, Joe. You understand? Someone looked at this guy. This guy, you look at that bros. Somebody that you look at him and you say bros. You understand? You people now say he's under 20. You people are now celebrating. That's why what happens. That's why 10 years later, they are nowhere to be found because they are 50, because they are 40. And then the people you were playing against, look at it, that under 20 Argentina, some of those boys are going to be playing the World Cup. You check it out now. Some of those boys, 20 years from now, you see them, they are still in the game, 10 years, 15 years.
I think this year's under 20 were young, like it's the youngest I've seen for a long time. But Osagie has a point, and that's why you've seen that we have a poor record. Even when we have the best record in under 17 World Cup, we have a bad record in under 21 because the under 17 have not transitioned well to under 21. Which is why if you go back to our under 21 team of 2005, the one that lost to Argentina in the final, they've been our best performing. Yeah, they've been the best performing under 21 because if you look at it, they were really young, not 21 young in my opinion. Like I can't confirm, but they were really young. They're the youngest I've seen since I started watching football in Nigeria for under 21. And you see how far that's set, how far they went. The Mikel Obi, the Tai Taios, the John Oworis. You understand me? So. You have a point. Age cheating has really affected us from transitioning team from under 17 to under 21 to the Super Eagles, and that is why you see that under 21, that on Argentina under 21, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of them played football till their 30s, like we knew them, and they also beat Nigeria in the Olympics about 3 years later.
It's the same set, the Aguero set, yeah.
Very annoying set.
Yeah,
Yeah, very annoying actually. Very annoying. I mean, look at the Japan set now. Where's the Chrysanthus guy? Where's the Alpha guy?
it's true.
Do you know, I
It's
was
true.
I was watching like one of the highlights or something from that competition, and David De Gea was in that competition for Spain.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
You know, so man, like you said, they need to graduate from under 17 to under 21. Is
20.
it under 21 then under 23, or is it under
Yeah,
20 and 21? How
I
does
think
it go, Steve?
I think it's yeah. I think it's 21.
Steve,
Sorry, you said?
you're distracted.
Yeah, I'm distracted. I just sorry. So just give me, just guy, continue. Just give me a minute. I have to fix something. Sorry.
Yeah. So it
Uh,
goes from like under 17 to I think under 19, then under 21 or
uh,
so, right?
under 17, under 19, under 21, then under 23, which only happens 4 years. The 23 is just 4 years.
Oh, the 23 is all just four
For
years.
Olympics, yeah, just for the Olympic squad. Then you now go
Okay.
into the full team.
You get, and then you see the progression with every team. You see it with Argentina, you see it with Spain. What is wrong with Nigeria? Why? Where is Victor Brown? After that competition, where did Victor Brown go?
You know what they call this? It's called corruption at the end of the day. My guy, you know. A country
Sorry,
that
guys.
doesn't know.
Sorry, I want to take us back a little, right? I can talk about
Yes.
crypto here, right? We can talk about crypto
Yeah.
now. It's not
Yeah, are you
illegal.
sharing
They just
crypto?
it's not illegal. So when that's why I was distracted. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. So on Friday I sold some USDT that I had, right? Because I
Mm-hmm.
knew what was going to happen. That same Friday I bought fuel. Like I knew what was going to happen. So I sold USDT. So yesterday when that whole devaluation Naira thing happened, which we're going to
Mm-hmm.
discuss later, I bought again because on Binance it now went to 630.35 from 750, right?
Ooh,
It now went to
damn.
630 something. So I bought again. So as we're here, Samson sent something to the group where Tinubu, I think Tinubu made a speech today and was talking about he's going to unify the exchange rate market, right? Immediately I saw it,
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, the ones I bought yes because because before we started this podcast, I've seen 752. That it was 752 on US on Binance. I'm like, bro, I have to sell this stuff. So that's what I just sold. Because once that speech starts circulating, it's going to drop again. So let it drop again. I'll buy again. So let's move on. That's just what took my attention. So I'm sorry. I apologize.
So now because of money where you want make you before you dey record now, you just forget voice for the podcast. Could they face crypto money?
Man, no vex. I apologize. I dey find money to buy fuel now. I find money to buy fuel. So yeah, that's so for me. These guys, I was so impressed yesterday because Argentina has really in this one, especially in this level, on the 21 level, Argentina don't show us.
Yeah.
After even apart from that, even me, if apart from that, 2005 finals, 2005 finals, they've dealt with us in another tournament. So, bro, it's been
Yeah.
really tough. That's why I was happy that Nigeria beat them yesterday.
Yeah, and they always beat us in,
I beat them at home too.
and they beat us in
At
every
home.
World Cup. Every
World Cup.
time. We're tired. Come on.
World
Man.
Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so happy, bro.
All right, so
I was
back
so
to the fuel subsidy. Bola
man.
Ahmed Tinubu, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was inaugurated on Monday. That was last week Monday, and he gave his speech. And the highlight of his speech is that no more fuel subsidy, sharp,
Yeah.
no more fuel subsidy.
So,
And and
because sorry.
yeah, continue.
It was interesting because Arise TV said he got a copy of the speech, which Ayo said he wrote.
Yeah, I did not write fuel
He got
subsidy. I did not write fuel subsidy. Baba ad libbed. He did a
I
small.
caused this thing.
He
Osagie.
did a two-face ad lib.
Ayo, cause you are looking for credit now. Now you write speech.
No, I don't write this
So now
kind
you
of speech.
cause this while out.
No. Now Shetima speech I write now. I remember. Now Shetima speech I write. Don't write the whole speech.
So apparently, Arise TV got the speech and it wasn't there. The subsidy talk wasn't there. So I don't know what prompted Tinubu to mention this thing, because this thing has gone on to have a ripple effect, right? So before I start talking about the ripple effects, I was surprised by how many people, and this is not is not a shade, it's not anything. It's just sometimes you hear words and you just move on. You understand me? But a lot of people don't understand what subsidy is actually, right? Even yesterday, my neighbor was asking me, and I was shocked, right?
People don't know what subsidy is.
Yeah,
Actually, yes,
people
it's understandable.
and you know why? It's because this is the first time we are being affected like really a lot by it, right?
Yeah.
We've had big moments of subsidy. 2012, Occupy Nigeria was
Bro,
Mhm.
it started a protest, right?
bro,
But
in 2012,
the increment was
no,
very small.
it's not even the increment, right?
Yeah.
It's more around in 2012, the way people saw it was they are increasing the price of fuel, not that they were
Yes.
taking away subsidy.
Yeah. That's how APC framed it. This
Hmm.
APC, that's how the opposition and I'm
Are you
so
sure
and
it
I'm
was an opposition framing it,
no.
or it was
Osagie,
just a general misconception?
yes, fueled by the opposition. Remember this. Remember this alliance had started. AD, Tinubu, Buhari. The alliance had started, right? So
Hmm.
they saw this opportunity, and this is what opposition parties should do. I don't like. I'm saying it's like from a. I was impressed. Like I was impressed with what they did, right? But
Yeah.
you could see Occupy Nigeria was what started the movement that brought in Buhari and
Yeah, yeah,
APC.
yeah,
And
Occupy
now today.
Nigeria, enough is enough.
yeah.
You
That
guys
period.
disagree?
No, I agree. I agree.
No,
I
no,
agree. It's that
I agree.
period.
I believe that
Yeah.
exactly. So it has always been a cautiousness, but I think now the increments has been too much, and people are just really getting aware. Like my neighbor asked me, I went to play football. It was like the conversation. A lot of guys were asking me what it was, right? Right. So I was like, oh, subsidy is just someone paying something for you, so that you are paying small money for it, and another person is paying the other amount for you. So you are buying
Yeah,
something for cheap because someone is subsidizing it,
yeah.
right? Now the federal government is saying, bro, we're not doing this again because we don't have money. We've been borrowing money to subsidize this thing. And that's the mistake. That's another mistake that Nigerians are making that even me I made until something corrected us. Until Nuru corrected us, right? I thought they said they were going to redirect the subsidy funds into
Mm-hmm.
other things like infrastructure, education, stuff like that. But
Yeah,
now I'm hearing
that's
that
what I
they
thought
were
too.
borrowing, I'm hearing that they were borrowing money to do this thing. And the
Mm-hmm.
federal government is saying
Yes,
we're not
now.
borrowing again. So there's no even money.
Yeah,
Yes,
they are,
now.
They're
they
not
are owing the
redirecting anything.
marketers. They are owing the marketers for
And they've not
previous
paid any
months.
NNPC since February 2022. That's last year. They've not paid
Yeah,
NNPC since February 2022. Bro. So it's even scarier than
Yeah.
I even thought. I thought, you know what? What my idea of subsidy has always been you take out those trillions because we know the scam in that subsidy thing. The scam in that subsidy thing is the marketers are claiming to pay for for volumes of fuel that we're not consuming, right? Which we later learned that a
Hmm.
lot of marketers smuggle cheap fuel from Nigeria into neighboring countries to sell for market rates. That's higher prices,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Higher
So
prices.
they're
Yeah,
using our money to fund themselves. So that's by the way. So I felt yes, remove subsidy and take the money, add take part of those trillion, add to the education budget, take part of those
security
trillion, add
budgets.
to the security budget, take part of that trillion and add to healthcare budget. The three critical, right? Three critical
Hmm.
parts of our economy. Bro, I'm just learning that there's nothing to add,
Nigeria is broke, my nigga.
bro. And this is scary. It is scary.
Yeah,
It is
Sanusi
like
said.
it's
Sanusi warned Nigerians as far back as 2012 about this. That this is what is going to happen. That Nigerians will be borrowing money. The government will be borrowing money to just to stay afloat. And here we are right now.
yeah. And there's this speech that Okonjo-Iweala gave as 4 years ago when she was talking about when she tried to audit the subsidy claims for marketers and her mother was kidnapped. Did you guys watch the video?
Yeah, I put it up on my Instagram story.
Yeah, Osagi, did you watch it? Osagi didn't watch it because
No, I
I put
didn't.
it on the group. Because, she said they were telling her that she has to publicly resign from her position as finance minister.
Yeah.
Those
Else,
marketers, yeah, well
or they'll
connected
kill her
people,
mother. Mm-hmm.
let's kill her mother, you know. And it takes me back to how Dora Akunyili, when she was on a drive to sanitize our drug market, right?
Yeah.
That they were carrying out assassination attempt on this woman. Do you
Yeah,
understand?
several
Like,
times. Yeah, several times.
Osagie, do you understand? Like, someone, that's how wicked humans are. Someone is selling fake drugs that are killing people.
It's an extreme sport. Yeah,
Someone now came and said,
yeah.
you know what? We have to stop. The people who are selling fake drugs wanted to kill this woman. Like, you are committing one crime, like one huge crime. Then someone is trying to stop it. You want to kill that person. Like, that's how far humans can go to destroy that people's life. You know? And
Nigeria is a crime scene.
no, Nigeria is a crime scene, a huge crime scene. And
And I think that's one gripe I hold with, like, Nigerians, especially the middle class and the elite Nigerians who come and say, "Oh my God, what's going on? This person can't be this. This person can't run for." Bro, like, there's a crime scene that you are seeing every day, but you don't
yeah,
want
a
to solve
civilian.
it.
Yeah.
But you want to
Yeah.
solve the one that is far from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you understand? That's the problem Nigerians have.
Yeah.
It's also the same problem we have where we are fixated on, like, the presidential role or the vice presidential role, and your bots, rather your counselor, your state house
Chama,
of rep,
your
the
chama.
people that are
Bro,
representing your neighborhood and your own local government. You
You
are
don't
not
know.
holding them accountable. You don't even know them.
You don't know them now.
they're the major parts of a problem. The presidency is
Yeah.
The
not even a
problem you're
problem.
having.
The problem
Exactly.
is the
So
presidency
that
is
is the
another thing.
problem I have with
So for me, going
Nigerians.
back to this whole subsidy thing, right? It wasn't well planned at all. One, because obviously now we've seen the speech, the subsidy thing was not there. He made an impromptu decision to talk about it, which had a ripple effect on our fuel markets, right? So initially, just immediate. So the gist of people who were inside fuel stations, right, buying fuel for 185. Immediately, Tinubu mentioned that they changed their meter. Have you guys heard, like, do you guys know this?
Yes, I know the
I
whole
saw
story.
videos of
Yes.
people changing their meters. Yeah,
Yes,
immediately.
yes, immediately, right? And everybody was like, Nigerians are Nigerians' problem. Nigerians are so greedy. This, that. And guess what happened 2 hours later? The NNPC announced new price.
One time, and
Because
then,
you can't blame them. If they sell the old stock with old prices, that go into the new market with new prices, right?
yeah,
So what do you expect them to do?
yeah,
So I feel that one, the presidency didn't plan this thing at all. They didn't plan it well. And you said you are removing subsidy from the budget from July 1, but now we've started feeling the effect immediately. Nobody got prepared for it. Like, chaos everywhere. And is the number one goof. Is the number one thing that this government has done on its first day, and they didn't do it right, and it's so sad.
yeah. They said it was not in the speech that Baba ad libbed. Baba just dropped a
Ad-libbed.
freestyle. He just dropped a quick Jay-Z
And
bar
crashed the
there
whole market.
and crashed the whole thing.
Okay, but let me play the doctor's advocate here. How else would you drop that information and the price hike would not come up? How else?
I don't know.
So
Because it's a capitalist
so-
market, right? You can't
so you
force
don't-
them not to sell at a certain price.
So you don't drop it immediately because it's already they've already taken out the subsidy from July 1. They've already taken it out. You say they don't say it. Oh, July
Yeah.
1. There's
July
no
1 was
subsidy.
it. Yeah.
So you allow the people to, at least middle of June, you start talking about it, that from July 1, there won't be any subsidy. We're not paying any subsidy for fuel, for PMS in Nigeria,
So
right?
at least you have a cushion of 1 month.
The cushion of one. Before then, you would have met with NLC, because now you are meeting with NLC. That's why there's this rumor of strike, because you've not reached an agreement with them. You would have
Yeah.
met with NLC, maybe put 10,000 naira on top of the minimum wage, because they have to.
Yeah.
The federal government has to increase minimum wage, like they have to.
It's definite.
You can't have a minimum wage of 30,000 naira and you're selling fuel a liter for almost $100. It's impossible.
Yeah.
You have to put at least 10,000 naira on the minimum
Sorry,
wage. So
almost $1, not $100.
almost $1. Sorry, almost $1. You have to put 10,000 so that it will be 40,000. It's still okay. You have to do that. If they do that, Labour can say, okay, we can take this, and that will that will kind of like shake up the system a little bit and allow people to cope. But it was just too sudden. Your first speech, you've not even like you just resumed your office. It
Yeah,
wasn't properly planned. That's my number one problem with it. And my number two problem with it is fine. You are taking out subsidy. It's fine. It means the people are going to suffer. Yes, Nigerians are suffering before. Now
Mm-hmm.
the suffering is going to be times two. But
Yeah.
this suffering has to come from the top, right? There has to be something you are giving up as a governor, as a government, and it's just the cost of government, cost of governance.
yeah, it's too
I
big.
don't. It's too
Nigerian
big. I don't
government
want
is
to
too
see
big.
a House of Rep member using 10 cows on his convoy,
Yeah,
or a senator having 15 cars on his convoy. I don't want to see it because
a
the
governor,
money that
a
using
governor with
is
20
not their
cars. Come on.
money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Come on,
And
it's too
stuff like
much.
that, using something billion for feeding allowance or 12 million naira for newspaper allowance for senators.
Sorry, hold
Not
on.
doing
Governance is too high.
Sorry, that newspaper
It's too
allowance.
high.
I want to understand. Can't our political leaders go online and go to
and read
Vanguard?
news.
I
Exactly.
don't
They all have
understand.
phones.
Where must
Stuff
they
like so
read? Where must they
it's
read
things
with
like that.
hard
In short,
copy?
there should be even a conversation of why we need a by what do they call it? By cap what do they call it? Like having House of Rep and Senate in the federal house
Yeah, by
in the
yeah.
something like what
Yeah.
there's I think Ghana operates one. Like we this is a conversation we should be having from every
Yeah.
agency, from everybody, so that we see the way we can shrink the cost of governance, right? Like how many PAs are we employing? Because the presidents will have PAs and SSAs, they will appoint ministers, ministers will have PAs and SSAs, governors will appoint commissioners, commissioners will have SSAs, the local government chairman, there's councillors, which there are councillors, there's state house of assembly, right? Like it's too much.
It's too
Like
bloated.
how are we going to hold this thing down? These are the conversations we should be having. Not and it annoys me because the only conversation I keep seeing is the one targeted at citizens. I saw one Igbo guy, is a Tinubu fanatic, saying that now Nigerians will not be driving SUV anyhow. I'm like, it's not a problem if someone is driving SUV.
It's
They
such
just steal it from you now.
that
It's not a problem. It's not a problem. If I have the money and I have the resources,
See the way people talk.
yeah.
I'm telling you.
Someone will buy a car. You buy for the wife. There will be one car for Oga. There will be one car for Madam. There will be one car for the children. I don't understand. It's not a
Is
problem.
it suffering? It's not a
Even
problem.
with
if you
this
can-
new fuel, these people can still afford it.
Bro, I've
Problem is
calculated
those
it.
who are not using their money to maintain that lifestyle. That are using taxpayers' money. Those are the ones we should be talking about, not private
Yes.
citizens.
Not private citizens who have the money.
Bro, I don't know how Nigerians think, and it's very worrying.
It's very worrying, oh. I don't understand.
It's very worrying, oh. It's very worrying
It is
because
actually.
and I'll tell you why it's very worrying. I hope these things don't lead to a point where Nigerians then become violent. They start saying things like, how can somebody be saying you have SUV, madam will have SUV, children
So,
have SUV?
yeah.
Why are you
Osagie-
mad at why?
Osagie-
Why are you mad?
The thing is that we don't see this thing in
It's
triggers.
a problem. Oh. I'm
So,
telling you, bro,
had-
sorry to
wait,
cut you short. I
yeah.
saw another one on Twitter that said, that's good. They're unifying or they're devaluing the money. You people that will be you be buying dollars at cheap rates to be paying your children's school fees abroad. God has caught you people.
But it's my child. I want to take her abroad. Yeah.
I was just as in see, there's something wrong with Nigerians. I don't see the last 20 years, something happened.
Yeah. And this thing you said about Nigerians coming out violently, it has started happening, but we don't see it as one incident. So, what's it? Occupy Nigeria was one, right? Now, before NSAS, remember when there was a case of xenophobia in South Africa in 2019 or so,
Yep.
where,
When
boys in,
Nigerians were,
where boys in Lekki were coming out and were looting malls.
yes, I remember.
That
African mall.
that was not a xenophobia attack. That was an attack of hunger. There's hunger in the land. Then
Feed the rich.
NSAS came and it started with police brutality. And that became a thing of, we don't even like the police. We don't even like the political establishment anymore. And that's where it was going until what happened on October 20. If the government cannot find, I hate to use this word, palliatives for the common man in this new dispensation that we're entering, you go choke. You go choke.
Bro, bro, I see what you're saying because Nigerians are becoming savages more and more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
man.
right.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 1 week
But
in
in good
power
news,
and all this is already happening. 1 week.
but sorry,
yeah.
sorry,
No, no,
in good news,
there's
Steve,
good
sorry,
and bad to it. Yeah.
sorry, Steve, in good news, Lagos is free from hold up. There's no more hold up anymore. Everybody's
Oh.
at home. Everybody's at home now. Everybody's chilling. No hold up.
So, like, I want to make people understand that the life we choose as Nigerians, right, is not something, and I'm not sure we really liked it. Like, so blaming somebody for having three cars, what is the option? Have you tried to use public transport in
Bro,
Lagos, in a city
it's,
like Lagos
it's
or in Nigeria?
see the idea of entering
My
bus
brother.
is hurting my brain right
it's
now.
Bro, I would love to go to my nearest bus stop right now, enter a very good train, and go to
Yeah.
Lekki or go to Abuja for a business or a meeting and come back home. I wouldn't like to drive. Like, bro, driving is stressful now. People don't
It is.
understand,
It is
right?
yeah.
I would love to do that. Then take a train, come back to my bus stop and walk home. I would love to do that. I can't do that
I guess so.
because the public infrastructure, there's no investment on it. It's not really good enough for me. So that's why I have to drive. So people are not doing this thing just because they want to do big man or
It's
raise
a
the shoulder.
necessity. It's a survivor. It's for survivor.
For survival. And that's why since 1960 it's so shocking that we knew that we were going to do this one day, and we've not been deliberate with public investments in public infrastructure.
Yeah.
It's from 1960 to 2023. There's no internal train running through Lagos. Like, it's disgraceful.
The one,
Right?
sorry, Steve, the one that they promised us before the beginning of second term. Now show glass is still there. Now still show glass is there for Mali now. That's
we
a
are not
show
seeing
glass. It's a show
That
glass
thing is
train.
at least 2025 or 2026. At
Yeah.
least.
At
Because you
least.
see the tracks, they're still building it.
Yeah, so
You know? A locomotive train for that matter.
it's a locomotive Moscow. No be say
Nigerians need to access some premium standard of living because the basic amenities are not available.
yes.
There's no reason why a young 21-year-old should be taking an Uber because Uber is expensive,
It's expensive.
right?
It's very expensive. It's actually a luxury.
It
It's a
should,
luxury.
he should either be riding his bike, taking a bus, and I'm not talking about downfall, like if they were proper buses,
Proper buses.
public
Yeah.
right? Or taking a train.
Yeah.
As a young 21-year-old, like taking an Uber is a luxury. It's not for you.
That's executive level.
But
Truth is, I want to say,
everything is so broken in Nigeria that you have to take the Uber and then it's expensive. So
Yeah,
where
Truth is, I want
you
to
have a
say.
lot of young youths, right? And even just people generally living above their means, right? Going to stay in estates that they can't really afford, but they have to go there because they have 2-3 kids that they need to protect.
It's true.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's
So
true.
there's a lot of it's like same thing with how Nigerians hire house helps and pay them 20K or 30K.
Yeah.
They would really not want to hire the house help if everything around their life in the city was structured. They wouldn't need the house help. But now they got the house help for cheap. Right? And so if you start to place like everything back into the premium space, Nigerians can't afford a lot of Nigerians can't afford the housemaid. Because if you want to know how much housemaids charge globally, you know if you afford them.
No, you don't feel rich that rich at all.
It's so messed up. Like you were talking about like taking the train. The city planning is bad. So
It's
bad.
really terrible.
How do you want to? And I hate talking about problems. I like to look at solutions on the positive side.
and this
but
is
it's
what-
really hard being in Nigeria.
Yeah.
It's hard.
This is what really separates developing cities and developed cities. In a developed city, the usage of public infrastructure cuts across every class because it's
Thank you.
quality. It's
Bro,
quality.
in New York, stockbrokers use they enter the train.
Course now. Just walk down and just walk to the office. It cuts across all
Simple.
class because it's conducive. There's quality. The public infrastructure is quality. The reason why only poor people enter Danfo in Nigeria and Lagos is because our public infrastructure is not quality.
And they can't afford
So
cars.
And they can't afford cars. It's simple. It's a matter of affordability. You
Yeah,
know, and
absolutely.
yeah. Um,
And speaking
yeah,
of cities,
and
sorry, speaking of
so
cities,
talking of sorry, yeah,
okay.
okay.
I said, speaking of cities, it's so bad that when the whole world, the big cities of the whole world are looking for how they don't want to have many cars on their roads anymore. They're actually looking for how
Exactly.
to do away with cars. Lagos is still
Yeah,
fixed on cars and road
yeah,
transport. It's terrible, man.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
terrible.
And two, talking about that Uber thing that you mentioned, do you know that I used to, especially like my younger colleagues, like younger colleagues all through like places I've worked, I really look at them and see how much they use Uber and I have sympathy for them because I didn't use it a lot while I was at their age, right? One, maybe Uber wasn't Uber wasn't there, like Uber wasn't there, cab hailing wasn't there yet when I was at that stage. And even when it was there, I didn't really like it. Didn't We didn't pick up that habit quickly, right? Um, I have sympathy for them because I think about it. I'm like, how are these people saving money?
Hmm.
Because like you said, Uber, these things are expensive, right? But they can't save money because they have to get to the office quick. They have to, down like entering down for jumping down for like from one bus stop to another is stressful because when they get to the office, they won't be able to put in their best. Like it's really hard for them. So I used to really look at them with sympathy. I'm like, oh, it's hard. How are these guys going to save money? And this really impacts also, how you save, the kind of money you have, like stuff like that until your earning power like dramatically like increases over time. But for most, it doesn't, and it affects their savings, and they don't have money to put into investment and stuff like that, and really affects them. And I really feel
Yeah.
for them
Steve,
a lot because
do you
it's
know how much?
really hard.
Steve, you know how much I spent on Uber,
You spend
Taxify,
on you
both,
spend on Uber a lot. I
bro.
know. You spend on Uber a
I
lot.
calculated it last year, around 1.5 on all three of them.
What?
So you're talking
Yep.
Uber, Bolt,
I had those.
and
Ah,
InDrive,
man.
for 1 year, like 1.5.
1.5 million.
That is enough to, bro. If you buy a Mercedes Benz, that is enough to fuel your Mercedes Benz for 1 year.
Damn.
Fucking hell.
Oh,
Yeah. One babe did it last year on Twitter, and I said, let me even try my own.
yeah.
I checked out. I said, no, 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 no. That is, bro.
And you know the funny thing with that 1.5 million, you can't even buy a car with the 1.5
So
million.
you
Bro, you
can't even
can't
buy the
buy.
car with
You can't buy the. You can't
There's
buy
no
a car
car
with
now.
1.5. There's
You
no
can't
car.
buy a car with
That's not a car. Any car that's 1.5, no be car. No be car.
Except you want to be driving that Suzuki, that one they use for Uber on the island.
No,
Yeah, man. So yeah.
No, what am I saying? That car is 9 million naira.
that
Sorry.
car is doing.
Which
That is
car?
Micra. That's small Suzuki they use for Uber or for boats.
He says it's 9 million naira.
Jesus Christ. No, you
Unless
can't
you want to
This
buy,
is 9
why would
million naira.
unless you want to buy Micra in Ibadan.
Yo, bro, driving a Micra in Lagos, that is
They will crush
wild.
you. They will crush you.
A Micra on Third Mainland Bridge.
Gone now.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of lifestyle changes because my brother, the fuel thing is expensive. Like to fuel, like for my car, like for example, to fuel my car will be like 35K, right?
God damn
Yeah.
it.
So like something I used to feel for like 12,000 there. So
I've already
now,
done the
if you're
math
going
now.
if you're going to Lekki, you walk in Lekki, you are going. My brother, you have to pick somebody in Surulere. You have to pick somebody in Oshodi.
Yes, now
Or
carpooling for everybody.
you have to do that carpooling.
We're
Yeah.
You
back
have
to
to
it.
do it.
We're back to
Like,
it.
yeah, you have to
Yeah.
do it.
We
Like,
saw
you
we
have to
saw
do
we
it.
saw people do it back then now when we were
Yes,
young
now
and
a
everything. People
lot
used to
when we're
pick
young.
people up. And I used
Yes.
to look at it and say, man, this shit is wild.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
boy, no why
You know.
anymore.
But
guy,
bro,
you have to do
you
it.
come in. Yeah, where you they go?
Where they go? Enter.
600.
I think for a
Yeah, let me
Camry,
enter.
I think to fuel a
Yeah.
Camry now for a year with 550 per liter is around 1.5, 1.6 or 1.4. I did the math yesterday.
That's
For
now.
a
If you're
year.
looking at it now, if you're feeling,
Yeah.
if a Camrys usually have 60, 70 liters. I
So
think
yeah.
Corolla is the cheapest.
So I
Corolla
use
is 80.
So I use 70 liters
So if
to judge it. Yeah.
to judge it, if you're using 70 liters to judge it, it's like one. Yeah.
Like
It's the
1.5
correct
is
amount of talking.
between 1.4 and 1.6. That's madness now.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yep.
that's cool. Now to the carry people collect bow.
Yeah, you collect people, you carry, but at least 5K, use the 5K and jump for your fuel money. You have to.
You go push and they go.
You have to look for other expenses to court. And my brother, that's for the people in Nigeria. The people abroad, like my guys in the cities that Osagie ruled out earlier. Those guys, when they try, well, here in trenches. So
Na trenches.
God will help us.
Uncolos. Uncolos.
All right, man. So just in
Went to
1
Naira
week, just in
Naira
1 week.
devaluation.
Yeah, the Naira devaluation.
What started
as
this
well.
thing was Daily Trust.
It's
Shout
daily
out to
trust
Daily Trust.
Daily Trust woke up one morning, on Wednesday
and
morning,
choose violence.
and choose violence.
And choose violence.
And I talked about it earlier and said the CBN has devalued Naira. So the crux of the story was that as import and exporters who had used from M to look for dollars, that the banks sold them dollars at 620. So once banks start selling you dollars at 620, that means that's the official rate.
Yes.
And that's how DT published the story. And just because Tinubu also in his speech has talked about unifying the FX
The Naira.
market, the FX
Yeah,
exchange,
the FX market, the
FX exchange
parallel market, and the official rate. Yeah.
it really made sense for the story, and they ran with it and bought immediately. Like I
Bro, it
mentioned
started
before,
affecting the parallel market
it
immediately.
started affecting the parallel market immediately. It crashed, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, on crypto platforms that were selling USDT, USDT is a coin that is hedged against the USD, the dollar, right? It started crashing. It crashed like to like 630, 730.
That's
Something
crazy. That's over
something
100, about 100 Naira.
That's over 100
No,
now.
it was 15 or something like 15. It was 750, it crashed to 730. Like 30.
Oh, okay.
like 20.
Okay, 20, 30 now.
Yeah. So, but
I thought you said
immediately,
630.
no, sorry, 730. But immediately the CBN debunked that story.
It went back
Immediately,
up.
like 10 minutes later, it went back up.
Rabu
That's
dollar.
happened.
Rabu dollar coming
Yes,
back.
that's how you see.
Wow.
That's how quick you see that these people monitor the news. That's why this Tinubu speech I had to immediately.
I'm going for the full text. I'm going to find the full text. What did
I had to
you say?
immediately
You went
go
on
into the
Colos.
market. I went to Kolos.
Uncolos. Alpha.
You know, so now devaluing your currency, it just means reducing the currency of the value of your currency compared to another currency. In this case, it's the dollar in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
The almighty
federal
dollar.
government
Almighty
the federal
dollar.
government usually does this anytime the parallel market is running away from the official market, right?
Yep.
Osagie,
Yep.
I'm in line now, yeah. So
Yeah.
Yep.
so just to regularize everything, they usually devalue the naira to just, and what that means also for your personal means is that the money you have in the bank loses value automatically because we're an export and an import dependent economy. Everything that we use in the economy is imported. That means
Well, yeah, we're buying with the dollar, technically.
we're buying with the dollar technically, and because your naira has lost the value,
Value,
your money
yeah.
in the bank has lost value, and that's why we always advise people not to put money in, like leave money in the banks like that because it's very risky. And just put it into some of this investment.
Put it in an
where-
investment fund.
an investment
And not
fund.
only do that right now. I don't know how to advise,
No.
but
Don't do that. Just calm down first. Calm
yeah,
down.
put it in an investment fund.
Yeah.
Just make sure your money is making money for you.
Yeah. The CBN debunked it, but we know that's something they're going to do, right? Like it's inevitable at this point. Tinubu,
agree to say,
I think why hosting some people today made a comment. The video just came out. He made a comment about saying that he's going to let me look for the quote.
Unify.
Let me look for the correct.
Didn't you say Mayfield?
He said we're not going to have multiple exchange rates anymore. That's what he said literally. So it means they're going to do it. So when that happens, means that they're going to, devalue the naira. The exchange rates push it to something like 600. So while the exchange is 600, and what happens is that while the 600, this is 600 now, a lot of people will have access to official rates.
Yeah.
The official, when a lot of people have the official rate, there will not be a demand in the parallel market. So the parallel market will crash close to the official.
It now to get
There's
to the
another
official
theory
balance.
though. There's another
Talk to
theory
me.
though that
You mentioned this thing
other
yesterday
than-
too.
yeah, then other than the rates changing, which will obviously affect the parallel rate, there's also a scarcity of dollars.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And with that scarcity, it still affects the price to
It's
go up. Definitely with
go
this
up.
unification, it will reduce it, even though there's scarcity. But scarcity is very different from price, the
Prices. So what
pricing
Osagie
and
is
all that.
saying is, even when they devalue the naira and they say, oh, it's 600, it's still not going to be easy to get FX from on the official rates.
Yeah.
So everybody still be going to the parallel markets
So
Sorry,
if the
just
bank is
because
readily,
of the scarcity.
let
if
our
the bank
listeners
is
know what parallel
readily
market is, please. Some of them I don't know what
okay,
parallel
so
market
the
is.
parallel
Black
market
market, Aboki.
essentially is the black market, right?
Okay, yeah,
It's
yeah.
where you can get where you can buy or purchase,
Aboki FX.
FX
Yeah.
outside the bank. The only thing that can happen, right, that can even affect that scarcity, right, is if you can go to the bank and buy dollar
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I'm
easily,
saying,
it
yeah,
will it crashes that parallel market. That
it crashes.
scarcity is also very important. Remember back
Exactly.
then
So
now you could just go and buy
you could
dollar
just go
now,
to
they will
the
give you
bank.
dollar over the
Yeah.
counter.
Yeah.
My
Yeah, yeah,
God. It used to be so
yeah.
then this our cards, right? That they've
Yes, we
reduced
used to
it
use
into
it to,
$20 to
yeah,
$5.
Yeah.
If they
yeah.
can take it back again to say, okay, your limit now in a
Please
month
let them
It's
take it back.
$100.
is 100K. If
$100.
your limit in your month is $3,000,
Please
bro,
let's
True,
let's go
true.
back.
remember I used
Let's
to
go back
travel. I used
that.
to use my Nigeria. I never
Yeah,
had the
it's
dollar
true.
card now. I never
Yeah, it's
needed the
true.
dollar card when I
Yeah.
It's true.
traveled. I had my Naira card. My Naira card would what
Easy
they cash
to,
out dollar outside
yeah.
the country.
Yeah.
My Naira card, it now looks as if it's not even possible. It looks as if that was like a millennium ago.
Like 10, 100 years ago. It's true.
Do you
So
understand?
that,
They
But
carry Naira card
I
put
still
for
don't think,
foreign ATM,
it's going to,
collect pounds now.
Osagie, I still
That
don't
year
think it's
now.
going to happen, which ties back to what you said before, that there's still going to be a scarcity, which will also keep driving the price up, in
Uh,
respect of what the government does.
that's the most important thing. That
Yeah,
scarcity. If you
because
can remove that scarcity,
what gives a country dollars is what we are selling,
is if people are
exports,
buying stuff from you, yes.
stuff
yeah,
from you,
yeah.
and we're not selling anything.
Yeah,
To be
exports.
very
That's how
honest,
you get the
Yeah.
dollars in
that's
export,
how you get your
basically. Yeah.
dollars. So we still don't have dollars. So at the end of the day, I don't see how, I don't see how this thing stops.
I
Right?
get you. I get you.
I don't see it. It's still
Yeah,
going to keep
I
going
get
up.
you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
sad because these things keep happening. It's so bro, life is so difficult for Nigerians because just imagine working and working and working and working and something comes and drag you back. Right?
Bro,
Like just
bro.
imagine like a young guy, your salary is like 400K, you're saving like 200K every month, like half of it every month. You've been working for the last 2 years and you have like 6, 7 million naira in your account. You just be like, okay, they try small now, and something like this happen. All of a sudden, your 7 million naira is like 4 million naira,
Yeah.
like instantly.
Bro, this thing you're saying is very annoying because in the last 10 years, the work that I have worked,
Bro,
especially those last 8 years when that thing went from 200 700.
bro,
Bro, people they carry money go Dubai, small money go Dubai
small
that year now.
Yeah,
money
man. Yeah,
that
man.
period.
Bro, do you
I
know how much it costs to
swear,
fly to Ghana? Do you understand? It was chewing gum
bro.
money now.
Oh,
Bro, so we young men like us that
yeah,
worked in our prime, I won't say in our prime, but we worked a lot in the last 8 years. That thing just went
yeah,
from 200 to 700. Do you know how
to
many things we could
700. Bro,
bro?
it's so
See,
many things now.
when I was earning not even up to 100K, I was buying stuff from Marks and Spencers. I was buying shirts
Yeah,
from Marks and Spencers in the
it's
UK. They
true.
were shipping it to Nigeria. I was buying
It's
stuff on
true.
ASOS.
Yeah,
Like they were I used to buy that time. I'll buy my bulk of shirts. I can buy like maybe 15 shirts.
yeah.
And I was not how much was I in?
Osagie and ASOS. Osagie
Bro,
the
you know
shop
me that
ASOS
year now.
die.
But so you just went from that to oh shit, you can't do that anymore. It's painful
It is
because the generation before us, they balls. Oh man, I don't want to go into it. But
I beg, I
yeah,
beg.
that it
Let's
is
move
what it
down.
is. It is what it is. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes.
Let's
It
see
is
how it
what it
goes,
is.
man.
Yeah,
Let's see how
it
it
is what
goes,
it
man.
is. Yeah.
Okay, what's on the docket?
You-
And the
uh,
target is
Hilda Baci eating a dog.
yes, sir.
What? I don't see. First of all, move away
And
from
the thing is
Hilda
that
Baci because I think
that's like
people are
social media.
fixated on the
Yeah,
lady too much. I want
the
to go
lady.
straight into dogs,
And so
which
yeah.
is
No,
which
before you
is
go straight into dogs, people just talk too much. Because at the end of the day, that thing was there, right?
Mhm.
The meat was there. Nobody would have known it was dog if the other person what's his name? If he didn't say it.
Yeah. I like
okay.
as
So
you
that's
just
what
skips
happened in the
that.
video. I haven't seen the video. Okay, so the guys.
Oh, he's just so. She was trying to put the meat in the guy's mouth, and the guy was saying, "Yeah, you won't give me dog meat, like something in that context. You want to give me dog meat," and that's how the video
The whole thing blew up.
blew. Yeah.
Wow.
The only I understand it from a single concept where people are saying now you are an international brand, and this might affect your international.
You can't be eating dogs.
Exactly. This might offend your international connects. Shout out to Jay-Z.
Yeah, it's
You
might
know.
affect my political connects.
Connect. So that's the only point I'm taking. Apart from that, the whole conversation is just tiring. People they eat dog in Nigeria normally. Like
Yeah,
I don't know.
you now took your time out. You want to go and bring out ring light and tripod to now say you are the president of dog lovers or something like that and blah blah blah.
Oh,
blah.
Osagie, did you see that video? Osagie,
What?
you know the most interesting thing about
How
that
am I
video.
missing these things?
The guest said, I watched the video. The guest said that the first time she heard about you, she heard that you are from Akwa Ibom, but she was like, you know what? Let me even that she didn't rate you, but she was like, let me give you a chance. Let me give you a chance. And since then, you have been impressed until this happened. This is someone who's a dog advocate. Apparently, he raised dogs more than people from Akwa Ibom. You don't understand, like the way he was condescending about. Oh, when I saw that you are from Akwa Ibom, I was like, who is this person? I'm like, okay, let me just give you a chance, and you're impressing me.
Who the fuck?
Everybody wants to be popular.
What's the office again?
President of Dog Lovers Association. I can't do something like that. It's like Iyalaja of Nigeria, first daughter of the all those very very miscellaneous titles.
Iyalaja of Nigeria was wild.
No time, no time. First daughter.
Okay. So quick one, guys. Where do you draw the line with culture and tradition, right? Because the culture of the land says they can eat a dog, but forward progressive people will say, "Oh my God, dogs are domestic. You can't eat a dog."
I remember during the Korea Japan World Cup, where there are a lot of protests that Japan should not host the World Cup because they kill dogs there too and they eat them.
I remember.
The thing I like about FIFA is that FIFA has clearly shown, fuck you and your agenda. They took the World Cup. They took the World Cup.
FIFA does not give. You know why FIFA does not give a fuck?
Guys,
you know why FIFA does not give? It's not. You know why FIFA? Sorry,
hold on. Infantino just comes today. I feel like a dog.
I feel like Infantino don't want to. Qatar don't drop money.
You know why FIFA does not give a fuck?
Why?
It's not driven by American culture.
Yeah.
American culture is that thing that happens when you start canceling people. Cancel this, cancel that, cancel that.
Europeans don't give a fuck. Europeans don't give a
flying fuck.
Infantino does not give a flying.
They don't give a flying fuck.
Today I feel gay.
I feel gay.
Today I feel black.
You just know they said
that's one of the press conferences I've watched.
That World Cup had so many side attractions, man. That World Cup was wild.
They don't care if you are building the stadium and you are dying in the process.
FIFA don't care.
Qatar don't drop money. Nothing will not be that.
FIFA. So where do you guys draw the line? Because some people argue, right, that if I can eat a goat, I can eat a dog.
Yeah.
Because some other people domesticate dogs and goats. Or if I can eat a rabbit, I can eat a dog. Like, where do you draw the line with these things?
Only vegetarians have the right to judge.
Excuse me, sorry. Vegetarians don't have the right to judge because what is your business what I'm eating? Eat your leaf, I eat your leaf and I eat my food. First of all, I have beef with vegetarians. You know, concern you eating at the chop. You've chosen a life where you'll be eating leaves. Fine. Allow me to eat cow and anything I want to eat. You know, concern you. Don't tell me that I'm morally wrong. No, because you two are killing trees. You are killing people's gardens. Say you're eating. So where do we draw the line? Where everybody chop until they want chop. I beg you, name of God. As long as you're not eating,
where do we draw the line?
As long as you're not eating a human being, or as long as the person doesn't give you consent to eat him, please and please, anything where you chopper, but please do not eat bats or anything that will cause another plague. Do not cause another plague. Please, I beg you.
Have you seen them kill it? Have you seen them kill a dog for consumption?
God forbid. No. I can't.
Have you seen it?
To eat.
Yes.
And no, I have seen where dogs have been killed, but not to eat. And
how did they kill them? How did they kill the dogs, Osagie?
I've heard so. I've heard
They
so.
hit it. They hit it on the
I
head.
heard.
Oh, Osagie, the one I saw, they hit it too, but it's also traumatizing, and that's why I hate
Bro,
the dog eating thing. So they
bro, I
lure
saw
the
them
dog
killing
into
it.
they lure the
Go
bag
ahead.
the dog into a bag, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
how they
Like
kill
a
cats
bag,
too.
and
That's how
they
you
tie
kill
the
cats too.
bag,
And
and
they
they
hit
start
it.
and they use
It
something like a
is.
pistol to start hitting the dog.
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
my
Yeah.
Yep.
god!
And the dog
It's,
And so
cries
someone
and
who grew
cry.
and yeah, as someone who grew up like training dogs, like we had a lot of dogs. Like we had not a lot. We always had dogs growing up, like in our
Mm-hmm.
house. The only reason we don't have now is because we don't want my parents to be stressed. But growing up, we always had
Mm-hmm.
dogs, right? So
I
I
trained
love
7 dogs.
dogs. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
love dogs. I love dogs a lot, a lot.
Me too.
So
yeah.
that thing traumatized me. Oh. Like for like that thing traumatized me. You see that story I was giving in the group,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mhm.
When that man told me, I hated that man with all my life. Ah, I hated him with all my life, right? Yeah. So
So
like,
yeah,
yeah.
it's just
But
wild.
So where do you
that
draw the
doesn't give
line? Where
me
do you
that
draw
doesn't
the
give me the
line
right
though?
to judge
Yeah.
anybody. Like people
I
eat
would,
it,
I
eat
would think
it.
there are more humane ways to even kill like animals if you want to consume them.
Animals
Any-
in general, even including the cows that
yeah.
we eat, stuff like
See,
that. Yeah.
people that kill cows will tell you that you can't kill. There's a way
Have
you
you
kill
seen there's a
cows
document?
that
Yeah.
if you allow the
There's a
fear,
document.
if you allow the fear to enter them before you kill them, the fear seeps into their blood and the meat is not as tasteful. So there's a way
The
you have
meat
to.
is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
So there's a more
bro,
humane
there's
way
this
to do it.
documentary. I don't know if it's a documentary. I don't know where I saw this thing. Where it caused a huge controversy in America now. This
Rancor.
like abattoir in America where like they sell meat, they just walk the cows
Yeah,
into
I know.
blades. Are
I've seen
you
it.
seen it, have you?
I've
They
seen it.
just
Yeah,
walk
one
the
shot.
cars into like a revolving blade. They just walk the cars into it,
What?
and they just start cutting them alive, bro. Like I saw that thing with the chow cow now. You don't understand? But even me, I say no now. I say no now. I say no now. Oh now.
I think the
So I
way they
think
do it,
ethics matter.
I
Ethics
think
matter. If
yeah,
you do things ethically, yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah.
matters to
I
very.
think I think some people use what they call pressure gun, where they just place the
Okay,
gun.
you first take them out.
Yeah, you take them out, so they don't even know what's coming. You take a pressure gun and it don't poof, and they silent.
Okay, they do pressure gun. No, okay,
Yeah.
could just.
University of Suya.
Well,
Now making the
those
meat
guys are white.
sweet with
Bro,
that.
you have seen in a funeral. I've seen a cow that the head was dangling, running.
What?
Oh man.
That's a
Yes,
wild.
now.
That's a wild funeral.
Yeah.
That's a
Bro,
proud of me.
bro, cows are too strong. I've seen cows in the markets still, even when they cut the bodies or the skin, the part of the
Yeah.
skin is still moving.
Hey,
It happens now, Sage.
Cows are huge.
they're actually,
Huge,
they're actually big. They're actually big shit.
Do you know what it is to cut the head of a cow?
bro. Those guys they cut them. They'll hold the horn. They'll just start slitting it with sharp knife. You see the cow crying.
Yeah, so painful.
So painful, man.
Painful.
I think what Ayo pointed out.
I need to go and have some. I need to go and have some cow pepper soup now. Yeah, that's the only thing that can help me out now.
Yeah.
That's such
Goat meat pepper soup.
Yeah, the thing is that at the end of the day, when they not give you the food to eat, the meat to eat, you not go remember this one. You go like,
Oh my
we had a good
god,
death.
taste sweet.
What do you
Yeah.
mean?
I haven't eaten
Like,
dog before, Sha, so
our
and I
last-
don't look
our-
forward to eating a
I
dog.
don't plan on eating dog. That's too
our
far
last
from me.
so our last girl, my dad's last kid, right?
Mhm.
So she had been eating chicken now, like chicken. But there's this live chicken that she sees around the house. Then one day they killed it, and for the next 3-4 years, she stopped eating chicken. Like
It's
that was the
traumatized.
first time as a kid. That was the first time as a kid she realized that this is what I've been eating. Like it's something that was
Yes.
alive.
Yes, no.
Wow.
Yeah, for the
Wow.
next, let me just say 2 years, she stopped like between the ages of like 5 to like 7. She stopped eating it until like say she forget.
Let's say the one way.
like it's not like it's one of it's one of my memories growing up, remembering that period where that Christmas period she cried and she was like really scared of meat. I think it happened for like a year or two. Then later she can't forget. If you remind her now, if you remind her now, she has forgotten. It's just
Crazy.
interesting to see. Yeah.
Okay, guys, let's move into our new segment called Ask the Giants,
Yeah.
and we have
Oh,
a
we have a mail for Ask the Giants already.
Yeah, we do.
The
Please
segment that
send
just started
your
today. Wow.
yeah. Please send your
But bro,
um
family is almost Ask the Giant because they always ask questions and we discuss about it.
yeah,
You
but
know,
most of them
but
don't ask questions. They they
it's true.
they have like topics. These are like specific to helping people. Again, it
Okay.
is to solve your dilemma, your questions, or your curiosities, or just
Yeah.
ask for advice. All right, so this is from Tom Between Two Worlds, and the subject of his emails is to study in Nigeria or not. Hey there, I'm a long-time listener and a first-time writer to your show. I love the perspectives you bring to all things pop culture, blah, blah, blah. Shout out to you, bro. I recently graduated from high school and I got an opportunity to attend university here in the US, or I could move back to Nigeria where my parents are to continue my education. It's a tough call because, on one hand, staying in the US could provide me with exposure to a diverse culture and potentially more opportunities. But on the other hand, going back to Nigeria means staying close to my roots and my parents and contributing to my home country. As someone who has been heavily influenced by both cultures, I'm having a hard time making this decision. Do you have any advice or thoughts that might help me? Looking forward to your response.
Hi, Stephen Dede. It's not Steve now. Hi, Stephen Dede.
Stephen,
I
Stephen.
don't I don't have advice for you, but because
You
let's say
don't
you
have
define my
advice for me.
let's say you define my mouth. I don't have advice for you. Let's say this guy define my mouth. He's a troll.
So what's the guy's
This is a
name?
troll.
Osagie, what's the guy's name?
He's trolling.
He
He's a
signed his
troll.
name as Torn Between Two Worlds.
Okay, turn
He's a
between
troll. He's a troll.
turn in between two words. I will answer.
Troll Ayo. Ayo.
Calm
Ayo is
down.
a troll.
I want to answer this
You.
question like the way a Nigerian will answer a question, and that's replying with a question.
Okay.
If as a footballer, 18-year footballer, the Super Eagles of Nigeria comes to come and meet you, or the Three Lions of England come and meet you, say, "Oh, boy, you
my
got that first team." Which team you go play for? Let's be serious now. That is my question. And if you can answer it, then that is it. Choose the
This,
one.
is not, this is not a real situation. It's a troll. This thing is a
No.
troll. Just understand. Look at what the guy said. The guy said he went to high school in America. So, am I right?
Yeah, he went to high school. So I'm
Right.
guessing it's America. Yeah.
So
And
he
he's
went
a
to high
young,
school
he's
in
a young
America. He's
person.
a
Yeah.
young guy, right? His parents are here. He's torn between two worlds to go to school in Nigeria, West Africa, right? Like Nigeria is in West Africa,
Yeah,
right?
West Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa. Not Africa.
Sub-Saharan Africa.
Where
He has
malaria,
his torn
malaria
between
day.
going to school in America just because he wants to be connected to his roots.
And his
My
parents.
brother.
Steve, my guy, if you want to get connected to your roots, watch Kota Kinte now. What do you mean?
Hey, listen to loose talk. Listen to loose talk alone. That one don't do you.
Is there enough?
That's why we
Nothing rules. Nothing
That's
rules
what we-
pass to loose talk.
Nothing
Every
rules.
you can come and see your parents twice a year.
Yes.
You're an adult now.
Yeah,
you understand.
Over December.
You know what? I'm even responding to this guy.
Yes.
No. I'm not responding. I'm not responding. He define my mouth. He
You know,
Yeah.
vex Steve.
define my mouth.
Yeah.
All right, on the real though, I think it's very important to understand that your future is the most important thing. And to be very honest, right now, the country that can provide you with, proper education, tertiary education, is not Nigeria. Maybe you can check out the private schools, but being and if you're going to college or you're going to a university, I think you need to get the most exposure you can, and then during the holidays, you could always come back and check, your parents and check in on your friends here. And again, it's just 4 years. Within 4 years, you're done. You can come back as an expatriate to work here in Nigeria or do whatever you want to do. But I think, in these years where you really need to get the best of education from a tertiary institution, I think you should actually do it in the US because that's where you get like the best schools. If they were the best schools in Nigeria, I would say, hey, why don't you come to Nigeria? You can also receive that quality education. Those are my thoughts.
Osagie is being nice.
Osagie like to talk. I think he likes hearing his voice.
May I see
No, now.
May I see you for
No,
MMA?
that's
May I see you for
now
MMA?
beats.
You say they
Beats
go
you past that UK. You see the guy name.
Yes. Say you dey go.
That Osagie guy. What's his name? Ayo.
See, why are you calling his? Why are you calling him my guy?
We will beat you past that
my guy.
Yeah,
he's your guy. That's how I want to end it.
it's like you don't know what ASU. Like you don't know what ASU will do to you. You don't know what ASU is.
Maybe not Covenant he won't go. Not Covenant he won't go.
Oh, but you see, I've been to high school now. You can't go to Covenant.
I think maybe he's.
Steve, wait.
No. Listen, I have an angle.
You say he has been to high school, so you can't go to Covenant.
I think the guy is into tech. So he has studied the tech ecosystem in Nigeria and seen that a lot of Covenant graduates they go on to found companies.
But you know the best tech. You know the best tech university in Nigeria. You know the best tech university in Nigeria. It's actually it's Computer Village. Computer Village is the best tech university in Nigeria.
All these Elon Musk boys.
About the boy dey EFCC now. EFCC don't kind of. Yes, nah. Since
the guy the EFCC arrested.
Yeah, Charlie Poppy.
Yeah.
If you are the inside, they pack my guy. Yo.
Anyways, that's it. I think this episode has been quite interesting.
Yeah, def. They should like this one.
It's only that troll account that asked Giants.
That's the only one we have. So please, if you want to send an Ask the Giant email, just put it in the subject, hashtag Ask the Giant.
And give us realistic stories. Give us realistic dilemmas. You know, understand?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank you very much.
If I see this kind of question again, I'll look for you. I'll fight you.
and you deal with him more than you deal with Yamu.
Exactly.
I'll just make him, if I find the guy, I'll just make him wear that TMU shirt.
Not that one shirt, that guy wear one shirt.
All through his 4 years in uni.
I swear.
You know the wild thing about the TMU guy? He's also a fucking dependent.
Yeah, he just went October last year.
Maybe we thought they were giving citizenship for this one I did.
Maybe it's after the interview they just dash him. They will fight citizenship for him.
What's more? You go there, you're coming back to Nigeria.
Oh God.
Anyways, thanks a lot for listening to this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Steve, thank you guys for making it out.
Thank you guys.
You know how we do. Keep it real. We'll meet you guys next week, Monday. Bye.
Peace.
Bye.